In every courtroom where justice is meant to prevail, emotions can sometimes boil over, turning moments of order into scenes of chaos. Picture this: a room filled with victims seeking closure, families in pain, and defendants standing trial for their darkest deeds. Suddenly, an outburst shatters the quiet. Words turn to violence, desperation spills into action, and the line between law and raw human emotion blurs. Today we'll dive into two unforgettable moments that shook courtrooms to their core, from a shocking attack on a judge to a father's heartbreaking attempt to confront the man who harmed his children. These cases reveal the fragility of control in a place meant to uphold it. Join us as we explore these dramatic events, uncovering the stories behind the chaos and reflecting on the emotions that make justice a deeply human pursuit. The sentencing hearing begins like any other. The room is filled with quiet tension as Judge Mary Kay Holthus, seated behind her bench, prepares to deliver her verdict. The defendant, 30-year-old Deborah Redden, sits at the defense table. A three-time felon, Redden is in court for sentencing on a charge of attempted battery with substantial bodily harm. His attorney appeals to the judge for leniency, asking for probation, but the atmosphere is heavy. Everyone present understands the weight of the decision about to be made. The judge, calm and deliberate, addresses the court. Her voice is steady, even as she acknowledges the seriousness of Redden's record.
I appreciate that, but I think it's time that he gets a taste of something else because,
she says, rejecting the plea for probation. The words, though firm, are a signal that she is about to hold him accountable, but no one in the room expects what happens next. Suddenly, Redden bolts from his seat, his calm demeanor erupting into uncontrollable rage. Without warning, he leaps over the bench, lunging directly at Judge Holthus. Gasps ripple through the courtroom as the attack unfolds. Chaos descends in an instant, shattering the fragile order of the proceedings. Court officers and others rush to intervene.
Get off her! Get off her! Oh, you're good, stop! Don't do this!
Shouts one marshal as they scramble to protect the judge. Redden thrashes violently, his aggression escalating the chaos. Alarms sound through the courthouse, their shrill tones heightening the tension in the room. A group of individuals, court officers and staff, manage to subdue him, wrestling him to the ground, but not before the incident leaves its mark. In the scuffle, a marshal sustains injuries while protecting the judge. Judge Holthus, though shaken, manages to take cover during the attack. Sources later reveal that she hit her head but is otherwise unharmed.
Very happy that she's okay,
says Clark County District Attorney Steve Wolfson in a statement. His gratitude extends to those who acted quickly to defuse the situation. As Redden is restrained, the courtroom remains in shock. Witnesses exchange stunned looks, some whispering anxiously, others frozen in their seats, processing what they've just seen. The sound of heavy breathing, shuffling feet, and the still blaring alarm fills the room, a stark reminder of the violence that just erupted. One voice breaks through the tension.
Is she okay?
Someone says, confirming that Judge Holthus is safe. Despite the chaos, her resilience shines through. Her quick thinking and the rapid response of the courtroom staff prevent what could have been a far worse situation. Security is immediately heightened. Redden is escorted out of the courtroom under heavy guard, his violent outbursts now adding new charges to his already extensive criminal history. He is booked into the Clark County Jail on 2 counts of battery, including battery on a protected person. One of the charges notes substantial bodily harm, showing the seriousness of the attack. In the days following the incident, the full scope of Redden's history comes to light. In May, a judge had ordered him to undergo a competency determination. He was committed to a state behavioral facility, but later found competent to stand trial. He pleaded guilty in November, but after missing a court appearance, a bench warrant was issued for his arrest in December. Redden's criminal history paints a disturbing picture. Records show previous charges of malicious destruction of property and a prison sentence for domestic battery in 2021. His violent behavior in the courtroom only adds to his troubling pattern, ensuring that his actions during sentencing will carry severe legal repercussions. Experts emphasize that these new charges, particularly for assaulting a judge, will likely add years to his sentence. Judge Holthus, an experienced jurist elected to the bench in 2018, often presides over domestic violence and sexual assault cases. Known for her fairness and resolve, she resumed her duties shortly after the attack. Her determination to continue reflects her unwavering commitment to justice. On February 2nd, 2018, the Eaton County Courthouse in Charlotte, Michigan, is the setting for the second day of Larry Nassar's sentencing hearing. The courtroom is filled with survivors and their families, each bearing the weight of Nassar's decades-long abuse. Among them is Randall Margraves, a father whose 3 daughters have suffered at Nassar's hands. As the proceedings unfold, the atmosphere is charged with raw emotion, a collective confrontation with the man responsible for so much pain. Margraves listens intently as his daughters, Madison and Lauren, deliver their impact statements, detailing the abuse they endured. Their words cut through the courtroom, laying bare the profound betrayal and trauma inflicted by Nassar. Margraves' face reflects a father's anguish, his hands clenching as he absorbs the full extent of his daughter's suffering. Unable to contain his emotions, Margraves stands and addresses Judge Janice Cunningham.
Judge, what a distraught father. Have a chance to say something?
He asks, his voice trembling with restrained fury. The judge permits him to speak, but cautions against the use of profanity, urging him to maintain decorum. Margraves' plea escalates as he requests,
I would ask you to, as part of this sentencing, to grant me 5 minutes in a locked room with this demon. Would you do that?
The courtroom reacts with a mix of gasps and murmurs, the tension at its peak. However, Judge Cunningham denies the request, stating,
You know that I can't do that. That's not how our legal system.
Undeterred, Margraves lowers his demand to 1 minute, but the judge remains firm in her refusal. At this moment, the weight of his daughter's testimonies and the denial of his plea become too much to bear. Margraves lunges towards Nassar, his face contorted with rage. Courtroom deputies react swiftly, tackling him to the ground before he can reach the defendant. The courtroom erupts into chaos as officers restrain Margraves, his shouts echoing through the chamber. He yells, his voice breaking under the strain of his anguish. As he is subdued, he implores the officers.
What if this happened to you guys?
Following the incident, Judge Cunningham calls for a brief recess to restore order. Upon resuming, she addresses the courtroom, acknowledging the intense emotions while emphasizing the necessity of maintaining legal protocols.
I understand Mr. Margrave's frustration, but you cannot do this. This is not helping your children. This is not helping your community. This is not helping us. This is not helping the police department.
Margraves is temporarily detained and later brought before the judge for a contempt hearing. During the proceeding, he expresses deep remorse for his actions. He explains that he had not heard the full details of the abuse until that day, which led to his emotional outburst. Judge Cunningham, recognizing the extraordinary circumstances, decides not to impose any punitive measures. The incident attracted widespread media attention, with many expressing empathy for Margraves' reaction. Public sentiment is largely supportive, viewing him as a father pushed to his breaking point by the harrowing revelations of his daughter's abuse. Social media platforms are flooded with messages of solidarity, and a GoFundMe campaign is initiated to assist with any potential legal fees, though Margraves later requests that the funds be donated to charity instead. In the days following the incident, Margraves reiterates his apology and gratitude toward the court and law enforcement for their handling of the situation. He emphasizes that his actions were driven by a father's protective instinct, but acknowledges that they were inappropriate in a courtroom setting. His daughters continue to advocate for survivors of abuse, the resolve strengthened by their father's unwavering support. The Margraves family ordeal shows the grave impact of Nassar's crimes, not only on the survivors, but also on their families. These two courtroom incidents remind us that even in spaces designated to uphold justice and order, the rawness of human emotion can break through, leaving a lasting impact on everyone involved, whether it's the shocking attack on Judge Mary Kay Holthus or the heartbreaking outburst of Randall Margraves. Each case shows the fragile line between control and chaos. While the law works to maintain order, it cannot fully contain the depth of human emotion that these cases reveal. Behind the legal battles and courtroom procedures are people, including victims, families, and even defendants, who struggle with unbearable truths and unimaginable losses. Justice may bring accountability, but the scars left behind are permanent. That's it for us today, everyone. If you found these stories intriguing, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, subscribe to our channel, and turn on notifications to stay updated on more gripping courtroom tales. We appreciate you joining us on Imperfect Criminal with Private Investigator Purr. Until we meet again, remember to stay safe and keep informed.